Hello and welcome everybody to week 7 of Extracurricular Activities. I'm Headmaster Red. I'm here with my lovely guests for this week, 2 sophomores and 1 freshman, starting off with the freshman representative, Wooly Bully from Enigma Unknown. Would you like to introduce yourself, Wooly?
What's happening, everybody? Wooly Bully, support for Enigma Unknown. It's my first year in RA, and happy to be here.
Okay, great. The next guest is, of course, the wonderful, the beautiful Rivals YJH. How's it going, YJH?
I'm doing pretty good. My name's YJH. I mid for Rivals and sophomore. I'm known for my 0-8 Yasuo gameplay. And yeah.
Alright, pretty sick. And the other guest is not that important, so we'll just skip his introduction.
Nah, but like, you just disrespect me for what reason? Here I am. It's Jason Crip 5, best off-roll player in sophomore. Honestly, best player in sophomore. I off-roll and I'm still top 21 talent in the league. Preseason league winner. Happy to be on the show though.
Okay.
So it's pretty fun.
Great. Didn't ask, but thank you. So this week we're gonna do things a little differently. So it's kind of boring to do power rankings in the last week of the season because you're kind of just listing the standings at that point. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about this the current playoff situation for each division, and talk about like how teams can get in, what teams are already in, and then we could kind of do like a mini power rankings for each of the potential playoff teams, right? So instead of doing just like 1 to 8 for every division, because God, those graphics take forever to make. It's just easier to do this, and it's a little more interesting, I think. So starting off with freshman Division 1 playoff teams. Actually, this is the only division in all of the league that has all 4 teams just locked already. Big Duck Entourage, Infinite Solo Queue, RAR Enhanced, and TD Shadow. So Wooly, I know you've been watching your competition all season. How do you feel about these teams?
I think that a lot of freshmen have some egos, and I think that they think they're better than they actually are. Truthfully, I think just about any team in this division can beat any team in any given matchup. A lot of it comes down to some very small plays that happen throughout the game that make the difference. So it's going to be really interesting. I'm surprised somewhat to see TD Shadow fall the way that they have. And it'll be quite interesting, I think, if they do end up... Are they actually locked at the 4th seed at this point? Or if they beat RAR, they end up at the 3rd seed, right?
Yeah, so funnily enough, Big Duck Entourage and Infinite Solo Queue play each other this week. RAR Enhanced and TD Shadow play each other this week. Now, there can be a lot of movement in terms of seeds. I think TD Shadow can even end up finishing 2nd seed, so they're not locked into their seed at all. Basically, they're locked for playoffs, but their seeding isn't locked at all. The only one who's locked for like a top 2 seed is Big Duck Entourage.
Yeah, and I think you can kind of tell if you look at the games won lost that things are a bit closer than I think a lot of people make it seem. So it's going to be interesting for sure this final week. It's really interesting that they ended up in both head-to-head matchups in the final week. So I think it's cool. I look forward to figuring out who we're up against.
Well, we scripted it that way, so that's why it's that way. Yeah, I think if you were going to pick a top, like if you were going to rank these 4 teams, how would you rank them?
I think Infinite and Big Duck are really close to 1-2. I would have had, up until a couple weeks ago, TD closer to the 2 spot, but Infinite's come on really strong, and RAR's come on pretty strong as well. So I would not be surprised if it ends just the way that we're seeing it right now. That wouldn't shock me at all.
Okay. But you don't think maybe like RAR would be a 2nd seed or anything like that?
It's certainly possible. I think between all 4 of these teams, like it could have ended up anyway, right? I think obviously BDE has a good advantage going into the last week, being that they're quote unquote undefeated, but they have dropped a couple games. I watched the BDE TD games, and they were much closer than it maybe even seemed. And both teams were missing key parts of their roster in that game. I think it might have been, personally, I think it favored who they were missing, BDE, a bit more. I think TD missing JJ is really huge to their team. I think he really is what gets their team going around the map. So not having him, I think, was way more important than anything in that game as far as the outcome, is concerned.
Okay. Any of my other lovely guests, any thoughts on this division of freshmen? I know you guys don't play in freshmen, but maybe any thoughts?
I mean,
go ahead.
no, you go ahead.
I was just gonna say I have no insight on what's going on in freshmen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
JC.
well, I was gonna say.
I know.
I was gonna say
you
that.
play like you belong here, so I figured you'd.
What do you mean? you're just using the stream time to disrespect me permanently for what reason? Like, I was gonna say something insightful, how freshman teams, because we're going down to silver, and I think there's a lot more variation in how people play. Like a lot of the times, honestly, if anything, mood is probably is a huge factor in terms of quality of gameplay. So I think that's definitely one thing to keep in mind. And I mean, obviously, speaking as someone that's platinum 3 and just much better, there's definitely a huge gap in gameplay quality, but when everyone's at the same level, it's really just how you are on the day and how that goes, because that can affect a lot of things. So the fact that you mentioned that playoff spots are quite volatile definitely means that people can still bounce around. So that's something that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, this is gonna be the 1 to 4 seeding here is gonna be so important. It's literally going to change the entire dynamics of playoffs. If RAR sneaks into second seed, or even TD Shadow sneaks into second seed, that completely changes the whole dynamic of I don't know. To me, if you're playing this group, I kind of don't want to play anybody, to be honest. They're all pretty stacked teams. So for Division 2, I feel like you're kind of looking down the barrel of a gun regardless. So that the interseeding swap could determine a lot for Division 2 teams. But on that note, let's move over to Division 2. Freshman Division 2 playoffs has 3 teams locked out of the 4. It's Enigma Unknown, Shogun 2077, Goonswad Gaming, Iota, and then for the 4th spot, we have Crystal Cave Gaming, QG Pawns, E7 Pearls, and Temporal Image, all fighting for that last spot. Which is interesting that every single team in the division is still in it. Wooly, you were locked in first seed. What's your overall thoughts of this division?
Again, like I said earlier, I think it's definitely closer than it looks. There are certainly games, we haven't managed to drop a game yet, but there's been games where, it's definitely run through my mind that one thing, we do wrong in addition to what's already happened in this game could cost us the game. And that just, it's the way League is sometimes, So I would say I'm not surprised the way things have kind of shaped up as far as the standings. From the teams that we've played, I think Shogun's probably the best of the rest of the teams in our division. We played GSG super early on, but comparing the 2 games and how it felt to play against the 2 teams, I still think Shogun is the better of the 2 teams. And then it's kind of wild that we've got everybody left fighting for this 4th spot, and I think it really can go any way. We played TI last week, and they're a very capable team despite their 1-4 record.
Right, they got a lot better as the season went along. They started off really abysmally, but they've gotten a lot better.
Will not shock me if they win this week, right? And which just turns this thing all the way upside down as far as that 4th seed and who comes out with it. So it's gonna be a fun week. I think it'll be interesting to see what happens. I know our game ended up having to get scheduled for Saturday, so it may not mean anything at all when it comes down to it, depending on what happens tomorrow night. So
right,
I'm excited for it.
Yeah. tonight is also extremely important because GSGI is playing E7 Pearl right now. E7 Pearl needs to win that game to stay in contention for playoffs, obviously. And they basically would need to win 2-0, have CCG lose 0-2, and then QGP has to lose. So there's like a lot of these bottom teams are kind of fighting. They kind of like need miracles
they need
to
help
make
for sure.
playoffs. CCG, very simple. If they win, they're in. QGP, if they win and CCG loses, they're in. The rest, they have very complicated situations. They kind of need game scores to go exactly a certain way. But I'll be honest, and this is my, maybe consider it flame, but to me, it doesn't matter who gets this spot. They're out in the first round, to be honest. I think the top 3 teams are so much better than the bottom 4 teams in this division. And I think the top 4 teams I think the top 5 teams in Division 1 are better than a lot of the teams in Division 2. So I think there's a disparity in the strength of the divisions for sure. So I would say whoever gets 4th in this division probably is just going to be a bye week for the Division 1 team they play against.
Ooh, that's spicy. That's spicy. I don't know if I believe that.
I think
guess we'll find out.
Yeah, well, I think GSGI, Shogun 2077, Enigma Unknown, they're so much better than the rest of the teams in the division. It's such a drastic difference, and that's why the rest of the teams are fighting for the 4th spot because they're all at the bottom. So, together, that's my hot take. Flame me if you want.
It's a pretty hot take.
Yeah, thank you. So, obviously, I mean, it's kind of straightforward for this division, but who's your top 4 in this division, Wooly?
I like the top 3 where they're at. I am up in the air, honestly, on 4.
But it's between 2 teams, right? It's between CCG and QGP, right?
Yeah, we haven't played QGP yet, so I can't really speak to how strong their team is. We've played CCG. A couple of the people on their team had tried out for our team previously, so I know a little bit more about their style of play. I know that they've also kind of had like a roster merry-go-round going on. Their team captain has moved from like support to mid to now top, I think. So if they've got it figured out, I think they're probably the 4th best team without having played QGP yet. But I think obviously I won't have a full formed opinion until after we play QGP Saturday.
Okay, great. Anybody else's like last final thoughts before we move on to sophomore? Well, not everyone at once. Okay, calm down, guys.
I'm good.
Okay, good.
Oh
good.
shit, we did it again.
Hey, language.
No, it's
Oh,
good.
Say, I think
I'm sorry.
It's fine.
one final
It's fine.
thing is I think that I'm just gonna throw it out there. The teams at the top of Group 1 aren't as good as they think they are, and that's not me saying I think our team's that much better. I think everybody in this division is probably a lot worse than they actually think they are.
Okay.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, and I think it's one thing. This is going to be super flamey, but I'm going to say it anyways. I wouldn't brag about winning freshman 5 out of 6 times or whatever it is. If you think you're that good, move up. Stop beating around in freshmen and thinking that you're good because you won a bunch of championships in freshmen.
This is
That's
true.
not anything
That is a
to brag
very
about.
valid point.
Respect. Yeah, that is true.
I got nothing to say to that. Moving on to
Hey,
sophomore.
If
That's a
he
mic
lose-
drop.
If Willie loses, someone clip that and just send it to him at the end of the season.
I mean, I don't even care if I lose. I'll tell you, I'm not. If I win in freshman, I'm not going to be sitting here throwing it at a bunch of people's faces. I'm going to be looking at what I can do to move up to the next level of competition and keep trying to get better.
Okay.
So.
Respect.
I respect that. I respect that.
Valid.
Yeah,
Very
JC, you
valid.
could learn a thing or two about this from that guy. Anyway, moving on to sophomore. Got sophomore Division 1, the playoff teams. We got 3 teams locked, and then 4 teams fighting for the last spot. So we have Fever locked in first seed. I think, they're just locked in first seed, right? Yeah. And then Literal Monkeys Water, TT Passion, And then for the last spot, we have Collective Calamity, Red Panda Gaming Cubs, DZG Elysium, and Zenigma Singularity, all fighting for that last spot. The only reason why Zenigma Singularity is actually still in the playoffs is because they've kind of turned around their season the last couple of weeks. Kind of just by beating CC, they completely turned around their chances of making playoffs. So, yeah, guys. So my sophomore representatives, what's your thoughts on this group?
I mean, I'll be honest. I think group one is by far and away probably just one of the weakest groups out there. Like I look across the list of these teams, and if my thought is I can gap like 9 out of 10 of these teams playing off role, like it's not much of a challenge. I think Fever, like with the roster that they've lined up and like with their past history in competitive, not finishing first is a failure. So you know they're performing as expected.
Okay.
Like looking at like Litma Water or like TT Passion and stuff, like you know they have some, you have some recognizable names on there. You see Chinese Spy, or you see my boy Chessie out there. Like there's definitely good players on these types of teams, and I think that fourth slot, like I don't know, it's not Flame, but whichever team like gets that fourth spot, they're getting first, like they're leaving in first round as well. Like I think this is probably just the least impressive group in my own eyes. Like Okina's like creaming himself over his stats when he's playing against like IBS players in this group. Well, maybe not that bad, Flame, but like I don't think this group is that impressive. And I think like I don't know, it's normal. I think Fever and Litmon will probably be the two competitive teams out of this group. Like once playoffs roll around.
Okay.
Yeah, I completely agree of what you just said. I think from what we've seen, just Fever's just, except Fever, this group seems to be like the weakest out of all of them. I don't know, it's just, yeah, Fever can just dominate so easily, and then I guess Little Monkeys are just, I guess, on a certain level. Like they're not bad, but I think the rest of the group just goes downhill after that. Fourth place and ongoing, it's just, yeah.
So would you say if like Rivals was in this group, it would kind of be like rival season?
I think it's rival season right now, honestly.
Okay.
That's funny. That's really funny.
I just think I think it's rival season right now. But honestly, yeah, we've played Little Monkeys yesterday, and TD Passion we've played before, and I was AFK the first 10 minutes in that Little Monkeys game, and we still somehow won. So yeah, I don't know.
We're talking about scrims. Is that what's happening?
No.
Okay.
Am I not allowed to mention other leagues in this?
Oh, go ahead.
We're talking about practice.
Yeah. No, not practice. We played Little Monkeys yesterday in BOL, and I was DCing the whole first 10 minutes, and we somehow won the game.
Yeah, but, I think it's fair game to talk about BOL when Bully plays in the league. I think it's okay. Like the dude plays it here, so it'd be kind of weird to say like, oh no, don't talk about them.
Oh, I am mad at Collective Calamity.
Yeah,
the Bully took away my top 20 spot, so now I have to say I'm a top 21 player. You know how dumb that sounds?
I wasn't gonna say anything, but now that you mentioned it,
yeah,
there you go.
It's kind of fitting. Let's be honest, though.
Oh well.
So, some key matchups in this group this week. We got Collective Calamity playing Monkey Water, and DZG playing TT Passion. Basically, those are must wins for DZG and CC. Do you see them doing that at all, or is it kind of just like, because if CC loses, they're not out of playoffs, but they probably are out of playoffs because the other teams will probably just win. So, do you see CC taking the series off of Monkey's Water and making playoffs, or do you see them getting knocked out?
Man, I would not. Okay, this is going to be a homer take here, but I wouldn't put
ZenS, dude.
Singularity.
On, dude.
I wouldn't put him out of it. There is a good level of talent on that team. I think individually, I think when they've come together, there's some things that they've needed to work out and haven't had the opportunity to. They haven't exactly had a smooth ride, but I think things are starting to come together.
Okay.
Here's the problem. Don't ZenS play Fever this week?
Yeah, here's the problem.
They do.
Okay, here's the problem. So for ZenS to make playoffs, they need Collective Calamity to lose 0-2. They need DZG to lose 0-2. They need RPGC to lose 0-2, and then they have to beat Fever 2-0.
Yeah.
Are their playoff chances 0 on the foldy sheet?
No, it's like 12.5% or something. It's 6.25%.
Well, that's a tiebreaker.
Yeah, well, I mean...
So not only do they need the results to go their way...
They need one... There's literally only one scenario, right? Out of... it says 16, but it's actually like 64 or something.
But even if they win... So if they win and they don't get in, they can still have an effect on who makes playoffs, right? Having... so if they win 2-1 and Collective Calamity lose 0-2... Don't they still hold the tiebreaker over Collective Calamity because of head-to-head?
Well, they would lose on game score.
That is true.
Is that what it goes to first, is game score?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Being 5 and 10 is kind of disadvantageous, to be honest. Zenes can't really, even if they've 2-0'd Fever, or if they lost, that's kind of like not going to really have a big impact on playoffs, unless literally everyone else goes 0-2. So... That's the only difference. Yeah,
I thought they had some chance to play spoiler a little bit beyond the slim chance that they get in. As I do think, like, looking at everything, they definitely are... They need a miracle to get in, right? But I wouldn't put it past them to win this game either.
Okay.
So,
I mean, I believe it's
looking difficult.
I believe it, but still they need so much more help to get in. That's the problem. But you know what? I like the belief. I like the faith, They say the faithful shall be rewarded. Maybe it'll happen. I doubt it, but maybe it'll happen. Any last thoughts on Division 1 before we move to Division 2?
Mickey Mouse Group.
Yep.
I agree.
Okay. Mickey Mouse Group and a Mickey Mouse League. All right. Moving over to Division 2. We've got CB Ibiza. I think, they're locked first seed. And Clown Gaming Gotham locked second seed. And then the last two spots are a fight between 3 teams. All 3-3. Gotham Reformed, BDE Ravens, and Literal Monkeys Grass. What are your thoughts on this group?
Oh, I mean, CV Ibiza are just, it's like the 2017 Golden State Warriors and made a child with, like, I don't know, the rap, like, with every single championship winning team in, like, the last couple of years. Like, this is actually just like the Infinity Gauntlet on a team or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're cheating. It's honestly cheating.
Oh,
It's fine though. The Love Hitman, my son. Titan, my son. Andy, my dear beloved. Like, I'm gonna see them in finals and then I'm gonna win. But they've done really well. I think, like, they set themselves some, like, super high expectations for how the season would go. And I mean, they only dropped one singular game to, like, Ergon Reformed. Which and I remember kind of saying we lose one game and, like, it's a failure. So technically, they've failed already. But I like they're like when the season started, like, I already knew, like, these guys are title favorites. So I think, like, I'm not gonna, like, I think I can just move on and say, like, I don't know, like, they're definitely, like, the team to look out for in this group for sure.
Okay. Just to give a little bit of a rundown on playoff situation, even though all teams are 3-3, not all 3-3 teams are created equal, unfortunately. Ergotum just has to win and they get in. Ergotum plays Eden's Cherry Blossoms, which is the literal last team in the group.
Okay, so they get in.
Yep. They could even lose and get in if another team loses. So, it's a little rough. BDE Ravens, is it Ravens still? I get Reborn and Ravens mixed up.
It is Ravens.
Yeah. So they win and they get in and they play Shogun Warriors Gold, which is the second worst team in the division. They could also lose and get in if Monkey Grass loses. And Monkey Grass plays Evo Evergarden, which is the third worst team in the group. So all these teams are playing the worst teams in the group. But Monkey's Grass would have to win, and then they need one of these other teams to lose to get in playoffs. So right now, it's looking like Earth and BDE are making it in. Do you feel like that's the right top 4?
Yeah, I think that's how this group should go, honestly. Like, I'm really surprised that Ergotum lost last week to Grass.
Yep.
I think. Especially
they got a
with a
FF
3-game win.
Yeah,
They got
yeah.
a FF win, and then they just get 2-0'd.
Yeah.
So I think that was questionable, and it kind of, I guess, saved Monkey's season. But I don't think like you shouldn't really expect the other teams to beat Urgatum or BDE. I think they just have to win their game and pray, basically.
Yeah. I think, this is a little interesting because Urgatum was looking so good. They just beat BDER, and they go into Monkey's Grass. They get a free first game win. They get
and then they lose.
They get five. For the second game, Monkey's Grass has no bans, and they get 2-0'd. It's just like, what happened?
I don't know. That team just seems like to be a roller coaster or something.
It's sub gap, I guess. Like,
did Urgatum
actually just
did Urgatum have
substitution
subs or something?
If they lose all bans, surely they had a sub, right?
Well,
Or
I
am
know
tripping?
Monkey's Grass did, but did Urgatum have?
Yeah,
Urgatum did?
Oh, did they?
I don't know.
I don't think so. No, I think
No,
they just straight up
didn't.
lost.
Yeah, they just lost.
Yeah. So no, I just think Urgatum is just a roller coaster, honestly. Like they either play super well or just somehow lose series.
Maybe
like
they
that.
just thought like, and that could literally be it. Like it could have just been a mentality differences. Like they just got a free FF win, so they just thought they were just gonna roll in, and then kind of went brain off and just lost.
Yeah, that they lost game 2. They're like, oh, okay, oh crap, guys, we gotta focus up. Okay. All right, let's play serious. Oh no, they're just better.
Yeah,
And then they just get mental boom. Like one play goes wrong in game 3, and they're like, oh, okay, guys, we're kind of doomed now.
It's just GG.
Yeah, we don't know what really happened. It could have been like some mental problems, like mental problems, but mentality issues. Anyway, any final comments on this group? Who like is this your 1 to 4? Like CBB's a CGG, and then who's your last two? Earth and then BDER, or do you have it like swapped or what?
I would say it's Earth BDER.
Yeah, I would expect Earth VDR, but honestly,
I mean, they're both getting out in the first round anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Okay, dude, relax.
Yeah,
I think like Earth is like the worst third place team to get, right? Like if you're a second seed and you're going into the group, like you're going into the bracket draw show, you're trying to dodge Earth, right? Like
I don't agree.
You don't?
Yeah,
think
I mean,
so?
are you? I think if you got a team that has mental boomed like they have before, you're not really that scared of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, okay. I mean, it's gonna
But at
sound
their
really stupid.
best-
If TAR,
At their best,
if
they beat
TAR like
CBAB.
their best, they took one game off of CB Ibiza.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
at their best,
my guess,
that's pretty good.
my guess with CB Ibiza is they were probably just clowning around and decided to play something stupid because that's what they do. Like I swear they four rolls flex Soraka or something.
No, they weren't.
Soraka's actually OP there.
They weren't. Literally, when they came out of that game, they were like jerking off Earth so hard. They're like, that is the best game I've ever seen an enemy team play. You don't remember the chat, dude? They were like hyping them up so much, dude.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think I think it's overhyped 100%. I was like really surprised when people started saying like Urgatum is, or like putting them at second seed.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we just got proof of that last week when they lost to.
Well, they also beat
Monkeys.
CGG 2-0. You got to keep.
I mean, but CGG, like, they don't look at that good, honestly. Like, they kind of faltered a bit. Like, it's just not been the same since that unnamed preseason league. But what is it like? I mean, it shows like Urgatum's kind of coin flip, right? Like they could take a game off of Ibiza, but then they kind of just like mental slap themselves against Litmon.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay. All right, let's move over to Division 3.
All right, this is the actual good group.
That's the good group, exactly.
This is the group. Like, my goodness.
Locked in. TA Revolution.
Sweet.
Imperial Gaming. Nameless Asylum. And then the last seed is between RAR's Coin Flip and Rivals. And to be honest, this was not looking very good for Rivals until Saturday.
Can I give a shout out to our analyst Tommy for basically saving our season and making Nameless get a free playoff spot with that CR from
with the count ruling. Yes.
with the comp ruling. Yeah, fuck TTMP just out of here.
even in that unnamed preseason league, like they were kind of cheeks anyways. Like the tradition carries on.
Yeah.
I think it's literally like just this group of people as well. Like it's not even just like the rest of the org, like to the moon in general.
It was literally
Yeah.
just this team.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, y'all can
Kinda.
like so like I'm like little like inside knowledge
Insight?
because we
Yeah.
haven't like given the full ruling yet. Because
Yeah. When are you gonna release it? By the way.
Yeah, I've been waiting
dude,
for that.
It's such a pain in the ass to write this, but basically, To the Moon was very transparent and like helpful with the or like as an organization with the comp ruling.
Mhm. Yep.
And it was clear that Samaith was like an outside team that they just kind of like took under their brand and was kind of just a bunch of bad eggs.
Yeah, I remember when they were like Aegis Gaming, or whatever.
Oh, Aegis? Oh,
Yeah, when they were like called Aegis Gaming in that preseason league.
wait, that's an Aegis gaming team? I did not know that.
No, it's not an Aegis esports team, and they just called themselves Aegis
No,
Gaming.
I know Aegis Gaming. They had like 8 teams and they ran their own league or something like that. It was very weird.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter. Those guys
Yeah.
suck anyways. Like, even if they weren't getting comp ruled, like they still got diffed by like half the teams in this group.
Okay, dude, relax. Anyway, so TA Revolution, they got a FF this week, so they're kind of just chilling, but they're not locked for first.
Okay, I mean,
They are not.
Honestly-
I think IG on paper should 100% to Aurora. But
no, I believe in Doki.
You see,
I love
I
Doki.
believe in my boys IG.
Well, I mean, you want
I
IG
mean,
to win.
I
so you make
don't have a
playoffs.
choice to believe. I don't have a choice to believe. So honestly,
Look, it's actually Doki season. He's gonna take Barrier Ignite.
nah. But
and
honestly,
they win the game.
I want to shout out also EDNT for saving our season again, taking off a game of
Yeah,
RAR.
that was huge.
If they don't take a game, we're out.
Yep.
So EDNT, I prayed to EDNT supremacy that morning, and it worked.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
yeah.
In all honesty,
he's
Doki
right.
did take
yeah.
no smite, but it is what it is,
That's
I
fine.
guess.
I mean, in all honesty, TA Revolution really should have been first in this group. I honestly look, losing the Island Boys had nothing to do with me. I wasn't playing. I was playing in Plat when I was like when those shenanigans were happening, right? Like I have no like I know why they lost, but like how come on now? Like how do we lose the Island Boys? I mean, it's fine. Like we beat Imperial with a sub jungler that we literally like just met the first time. So I'm not even kidding. Like I think TA Revolution, even if we come second, like we're the best in this group, like by far. There's actually just like there's no comparison. Like I off roll and I gap like the best like top players in like this top players in player standings. Like
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing with Revolution is really just like in interpersonal stuff. Like we have very strong personalities on the team.
Right.
You know, Exhibit A.
Right.
But I think like I don't know why people kind of sleep on TA Revolution. I don't know. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
I think Group 3 is just kind of weird from the outside looking in.
Yeah, I don't know. People are saying that we're somehow the worst group. That's
Have
what
you
I've
seen
heard.
Division 1? Have you seen Division?
Yeah, exactly. I'm looking at 1 and 4, and I'm just.
Yeah.
I'm
Why
just
is Caxi
questioning-
saying TAR is not on the same level as Fever? That's
Yeah.
so cope. Like I can play with I'll play with my left and right hands interchanged, and I will gap Fever personally.
Okay.
Like
I wasn't there for the TA game, so I can't give my insight on that. But I definitely think you don't want. I think if you face TA or IG as a 3rd seed or 4th seed,
yeah, you're
probably
screwed.
you're probably out.
You're screwed. Like
And then
there's no point.
Nameless are like, well, I don't know. We scrimmed them two times for some reason. They're like our scrim partners, so it's gonna be an interesting game, honestly, because I think they take scrim seriously and play the same thing in season games. So it's gonna be, yeah. We've scrimmed Nameless twice.
I made my debut against Nameless. I played Tom Kench for support first time in that game, and they were so free.
Yeah.
You need to get some better
champions.
practice.
They
No,
have 2-0'd. They 2-0'd everyone but
Yeah.
TAR and Imperial Gaming.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah, because they
So-
suck. Like I don't know. Like I played them literally. Like I don't understand.
I
Maybe
definitely think.
maybe it's a me thing, but like
No, I definitely think we can duel them 100%. It's just gonna be we're just preying on the IG RAR match, honestly.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
we know
I
we
mean,
can we know we can
you
2-0
need them to lose.
nameless.
Right.
Yeah. It's
wait,
just,
what happens if Roar take like one game off of ID
it's
or
over.
something?
Yeah.
They get through.
Oh,
Well,
damn.
So-
that's. I don't think that's true. I think if you
It
2-0,
is-
no, if you 2-0 and Roar
Is not?
loses,
Yeah, they have a higher, no?
no, you
have a higher-
No, if you 2-0 and Roar loses, right, the best they can finish is 8-7, and if you 2-0, you finish 9-7, so you'd go in.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So you're 2-0, you're in.
Oh, okay. Okay,
well,
got
you
you.
2-0 and Roar loses, you're in. That's how it works.
Okay.
Essentially,
I got
you only have you
Yeah.
have to prey on tiebreakers.
Yeah. We have to play on tiebreakers.
You just
Yeah.
gotta
You have to
win.
basically prey on a tiebreaker, and then you have to
Yep.
pray that you beat Roar in that tiebreaker as well.
Yeah.
I definitely think IG. I mean, IG have a first seat to play for, which I definitely think they want.
Right.
Yeah, but
So-
IG suck. Like, I don't know why we went 3 games against them as well. Like, they're definitely like a beatable team, and I think like I don't know with Roar, like they play some weird shit in the bottom lane. Like
Yeah,
Peter
or
Griefer out
it's-
here playing Cho'Gath. Like I remember an in-house game, I picked his Karthus away. He said fan behavior. I gapped him on it. Like there's like there are teams that can really pull out the kind of mystery biscuits here.
Yeah.
So if there's a team I expect like the ID might drop into, it probably would be Roar. So I'm excited to see how that game goes.
Yeah. It's
Right.
gonna be an interesting game, 100%.
Yeah, I think that'll be fun. For sure.
TA are the best team in the group though, by far.
By far, okay. I mean, it'd
Yeah.
be awkward when they don't get first seed, but
Okay, but that's because they lost to Island Boys because our mid laner had like
Yeah.
internet from Uganda or something, like just non-existent connection.
all right. Yeah. So just to give a quick rundown of the playoff situation, Roar wins, they're in. If they win a game and rival doesn't go 2-0, they're in, and if rival loses, they're in. Rival needs to win 2-0 and have Roar lose, or win 2-1 and have Roar lose 0-2. So
Gotcha.
yeah, so there's quite a lot of situations. I mean, it's not impossible, right? Especially because who they're playing,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
So Imperial wants to win, and so does Nameless. There's no reason for Nameless or Imperial to throw. So it should be fun to see how the Roar and Rivals rise to that situation. So
Yeah.
all right, very cool. Moving on to the last group of sophomore, Division 4. And this one...
Vision 4?
Group 4, sorry. Don't talk... it's both, okay? It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at the top, TA Gambit sitting there 6-0. Not locked for first, I don't think.
Which is some miracle of God, by the way. I don't know how that works.
And then
Kinda
TD
weird.
Harmony is in second. They're only one game behind. They need TA Gambit to lose, and then TD Harmony would have to win, which is not likely. TA Gambit plays Washington University Green. Legion Gaming locked, and then the 4th seed is Enigma Infinity and Pink Sprouts fighting for that last spot. And there's a reason why Enigma Infinity's name is first. It's because they have a much higher chance of making playoffs than Pink Sprout does.
I'm a Pink Sprouts fan. Like, Pink Sprouts for life, baby. But
I like the guys on Pink Sprouts,
yeah,
but
suck.
this team does not deserve to make playoffs. That's my hot take.
Pink Sprout makes it. They're getting first round exited. It doesn't matter. I mean,
Didn't
Yeah.
everybody in this group get a
Two
couple of free
FF
wins?
Two FF.
They got
Yeah,
two FFs,
two
yeah.
FFs. That group. What's
Yeah.
going on?
I
Not
mean-
looking hot.
No.
yeah. I think what is it? TA Gambit speaking as their former head coach until I got benched from a platinum team because of stupid circumstances. But speaking as their head coach, these guys they're really good. But then there's also they also have these moments of gameplay that make me question why the hell they're there in the first place. Like sometimes they'll just do really dumb things.
Yeah. I don't think that's
Like-
that surprising. Looking at
Yeah.
some of the names on the roster. But I know we have a resident Enigma fan in here, right? All they have to do is take one game off of TD Harmony. If they can do that, they make playoffs. If they lose 0-2, they're out of playoffs.
Well, I mean, Pink Sprouts are 7-0, so it's written in the script that they're making playoffs, right?
True.
Surely.
Yeah, I did forget to comp roll everyone else in this group. Let me get
Dude,
on that.
and you're a tournament organizer. Like,
Yeah.
my goodness.
It's a little
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think like as weird as it is, I think group 4 is definitely like more middle of the pack. Like I think group 4 is middle of the pack. If I were to rank like the groups in terms of strength, I would probably do something where like I bunch 2, 3, and then I bunch 1 and 4, with 4 like having a slight advantage.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's definitely interesting. I think Tia Gambit definitely like show like they're like by far the best team in this group, right? They could beat like they're 6-0 for a reason.
Yeah.
But then it's also like they're not. It's not like the cleanest 6-0, right? It's not like Ibiza level 6-0, where like they just only drop 1 game.
Well,
and I mean like
Tia Gambit's also only dropped 1 game.
Okay, maybe I'm also confusing their
I think the difference is that TD Harmony looks like a better second team than Cloud Gaming Gotham does.
I agree with that.
That's probably what you're like hung up on.
Yeah.
I think TA Gambit has a better chance of finishing undefeated than Fever or CB Ibiza does, funnily enough. Just because I think Zenes is better than Washington University Green. That's why. So and CB
CGG is second place.
Yeah, exactly. So TA Gambit probably has a better chance of finishing 7-0 than anybody else. But I mean, if you were gonna ask me like how many teams finished 7-0, I'm gonna say all 3. So but I do think TA Gambit has the best chance finishing 7-0. I think Zenigma Infinity kind of like shocked the world when they beat Legion Gaming last week, because I don't think anybody was expecting that to happen, and it literally saved their season.
Yeah, they really put us in a blender there.
Yeah. So all they have to do is take 1 game off of TD Harmony, and they make playoffs over Pink Sprouts, which is kind of interesting because Pink Sprouts got a free FF this week. So even with the free 2-0, they're still staring down the barrel of just losing playoffs and not making playoffs.
I mean, speaking as a member of the Sprouts organization, when I was on the roster last split, making it to finals, almost beating Team Ambition goals with 3 off-road players, but if they wanted to, like, if they chose to win, if they decided to actually like play to win and not have like friends sub and stuff, this could have been like a third place team, or maybe contested for second or something like that. But just because the nature of how they chose to play out this split, like, it's not looking optimal, which I don't blame them for or anything, because there's nothing wrong with having a good old like a bit of laughs, a bit of fun. But you can like definitely see like that this team could win if they wanted to. I mean, granted that they had Corrido go in the jungle, like I don't know about that one, but like you look at like their bench, and then you look at their starting lineup, and then you don't want to look at their starting lineup.
I get, why is Ridley on the bench? Is it just for Corrido?
No, Ridley's on the bench because Ridley's just kind of chilling. I mean, Corrido's the one that's more active and stuff. I mean, like you put Ominous in there, you put Half Sumo in, you put Hedge in, and like that's looking like a pretty solid team. Like Feathers was on this team, and then he got dropped for some godforsaken reason.
Mm-hmm.
Like
because he
Pink
went to
Sprouts
join
would have
another
been.
Team. He's on another team now.
Yeah.
So
I think it's because they only needed like Feathers for like a series or 2 or something like that.
Yeah, like in week 2
but,
or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. But I think like come playoffs, like TA Gambit. I mean, I like when this split started, like I had no clue who TD Harmony was.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, what is it? They had In Genetics, absolute king. But aside from that, like I really like haven't heard of any of those other players. I mean, Amusing's on the bench, but like they're a cool team to see as well. But I think like definitely like Tia Gambit by far the team that will cause the most damage out of like groups or out of like teams in this group.
Gotcha. Okay. Any final thoughts before we move on to juniors?
Okay. So I think the playoff picture for semis, I'm just gonna predict straight to semis. Okay. I think all the other teams are kind of relevant, but I think the teams in semis will probably be TA Gambit, TA Revolution, CB Ibiza, and even though they suck ass, Fever, I think the top 4. I think those are going to be the top 4 teams.
Well, that's boring. You just picked all the top teams.
No, TA Revolution could be second. What do you mean?
Okay. No, I guess. whatever.
Yeah.
That's a very weird champ. Anyway,
No,
any
no,
other-
this is weird just being so rude to me for this entirety of the stream. Like,
I definitely haven't thought that way. I don't know what you're saying.
Yeah, I think you're kind of overreacting. Let's be honest, JC.
you compared my skill level to freshman. Like,
I saw some of your in-houses, dude. I think it's a fair assessment.
what do you mean I popped off?
Any other comments on sophomore before we move to junior?
Yeah, just it's rival season, basically, honestly.
Okay. I respect the hell out of it. Okay. Now, people, if you thought sophomore was like kind of crazy, y'all haven't even seen junior. Junior is fucking wild. Their playoff situations are insane. And starting with Division 1, we have Dorado Gaming Sigma locked, VBU Monster Mash locked, and then 4 other teams fighting for 2 spots. And it just gets crazier from here. Well, we have Team Dusk and Shade, Shadows, Rodham Crowstorm, and OMT Athena somehow still has a shot of making playoffs. I know we don't have any junior reps in here.
I mean, I can technically be a junior rep.
Yeah, but you're going to go abandon me for some reason. That's kind of weird.
Hey, look, I still have 14 minutes.
Yo, Kenrick, just DM me and we'll get you in on this show. You deserve to be on the show. But go ahead, JC. Tell me your thoughts on this group from junior.
All right. Well, the VBU Monster Mash, they're running the same roster as they do in Aegis, and their VBU Monster Mash are supposedly a first seed quality team in Aegis. It's just like they being stupid and they decided to FF a series, so they ended up second. So to see that the fact that they're second, whilst Dorado Gaming Sigma are like first, kind of shows the kind of gap there. Like Dorado, obviously a really strong powerhouse in a lot of platinum leagues. So that's definitely something that I like to see. But the fact that there's like 4 other teams in contention for the top 2 kind of shows that this group honestly might just be like kind of middling in terms of the other groups' like strength level.
That's what we've been saying since the beginning of the season, and then that pisses off a lot of Dorado Gaming Sigma people. So anyway, because they kind of been dominating that group all season. And I mean,
it's no surprise though.
I think it's because Dorado Gaming, you're probably just too good for that group, and the group is weak. That's my hot take. But we did get a junior representative in here, the man himself from OMT Kronos, Kenrick, formerly BBC. How's it going, Ken?
What's up? What's up? Going great.
Great. How you feeling about this Division 1 playoff teams? Anybody that's like you worry about? Anybody you're surprised to see up here?
I mean, I'm surprised that OMTA still has a shot. I thought they were like completely done after going 0-4, but nice to see they saw some life inside them.
Yeah, they have to win 2-0 and everybody else go 0-2. But
yeah,
it's possible. It's still possible.
And Fury, yeah.
Yep. All right, so Dorado Gaming Sigma, that's the team that's been the talk of the town on this server. They've definitely been the talk of the town in banter chat. What are your thoughts of them?
I mean, I haven't seen them play, but they're probably overrated. This group looks like it sucks, so I'm not worried about them at all.
Okay. All right. I like it.
Dorado trash talk is a staple in Amateur League. Like you can't see a Dorado team without trash talk. So yeah, it's definitely you love to see it, but you definitely it's more rewarding when like they trash talk and then it falls like it kicks them in the ass.
Yeah,
but they're the best team in the group for a reason, so I don't see a problem with them trash talking.
I honestly, my Sunday nights are significantly worse if I don't see the copy paste of the dog on the in the car.
Another easy set for Dorado.
Yeah, exactly. If I don't see that adventure chat, it's just a terrible night. But yeah, I think in my opinion, TDR easily makes it. I think they just have to win one game and they're kind of in. And then the last 2 spots is I don't think it's reasonable to say OMTA is playing for a spot. But I think Shadows and RMC, Shadows plays TDR, so kind of important for both teams to win that match. And then RMC, Radom Crowstorm plays Dorado Gaming Sigma. So those two teams, if they want to make playoffs, they have to play against some of the best teams in the division. So it's really a good test to see how those things shake out. So I'm excited to see how that one progresses. But it's only going to get crazier from here, guys. Division 2. Any final thoughts on Division 1, Ken? Or anybody else?
Nah.
Oh, JC left. He has to go do another stream. Okay. Moving on to Division 2. Division 2, we have Ouroboros Gaming locked and Nameless Empire locked. And then we have 5 teams fighting for the last 2 spots. So, we have RPG Firefoxes, who is probably going to get a spot. They just have to win like a game, I think. CB Rush, Kung Fu Cats Augusta, Divine Ascension Emerald, and still New World Esports Henry has a shot at making playoffs. Kenrick, how you feeling about this group? You know, Ouroboros Gaming, they just lost their first set. They'd kind of been dominating all season. Any thoughts on their strength?
I mean, I heard OBJ was pretty overrated. I heard a few of their wins were like fake. They got like FF wins, and they were winning against teams that had like substitutes and shit. So I'm not like super worried about them, especially after they dropped the series. So yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
I think they're kind of whatever.
Cool. So do you think this group overall is just kind of weak? I mean, it's got your boys in there, CB Rush, so and they might not even make playoffs. How does that make you feel?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with them. Maybe they're like, maybe Village couldn't find like good players after Acid left, but I don't know, dude. It looks kind of rough for them. But I still think they'll make it up. I think their odds are good.
All right. So I assume you would probably take Firefoxes and CB Rush making it out.
Most likely, yeah.
Well, let me double check. Yeah. I could see that for sure. Also, Kung Fu Cats Augusta has a good shot. I think the other 2 teams, Divine Ascension Emerald and New World Esports Henry, need a little too much help for me to consider it a reasonable shot. But
yeah,
I think KFCA and Fire play this week, so kind of whoever wins that just makes playoffs. So that's pretty cool.
Oh, what, really?
Yeah.
That's kind of a banger, honestly, yeah.
Yeah. So that'll be fun. But any more thoughts on Division 2? Before we move to your group?
Honestly, I don't know, man. I feel like...
You think this is a pretender
I don't
group?
know.
Do you think it's a pretender group? Like,
I think it is, yeah.
Okay.
I don't think there's any like super insane teams in this group.
Okay. You think Ouroboros would finish top 4 in any other group? Be honest.
Maybe not in my group, but in group 1 and 4, they probably would, yeah.
Oh, okay. Cool. All right, moving on to Division 3. We have No Org Frost locked, OMT Chronos locked, Iceborne's Legends locked, and then the last spot is between William and Mary Esports and Rodham Darkwind. Very interesting. William and Mary Esports obviously have the advantage. They are 4-2, and Rodham Darkwind is 3-3. So Rodham Darkwind would have to beat Flora Eternal, which is very doable. And then William and Mary would have to lose to Iceborne Legends, which I don't know. William and Mary's kind of been dominant all split, so they only dropped 2 series recently. They kind of are on a slide, actually. But they could easily take the series over Iceborne Legends, I would think. But you would have better insight since you played against most of these teams.
Yeah.
How do you feel? Who do you think is taking this last spot?
I mean, Return of the Middle Six is only on this list because they beat us when I was on vacation and we were playing with Hirsch as our sub, so...
Yeah, but Hirsch isn't a real video game player.
I know, so my thoughts about them aren't super high, so it should be William and Mary easily getting it, I think.
Okay. I also want to point out that No Erg Frost thinks that they're gonna pretty easily beat you this week. And
really?
That,
really?
that, like, you'll just make an excuse that it was an off week when you guys lose this week.
Wow. Okay.
So that'll be fun. But is this your top 4? You got William and Mary, and these 3 other teams.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Sounds about right.
Cool. Do you think this group is pretty easy, or do you think it's the toughest group, or what?
I mean, like to make it out of playoffs, it's not hard because like the bottom 3 teams are pretty shit. I'm not gonna lie. So
Right.
so all you had to do was not come in 5th, and it was pretty easy. So yeah, I don't know. I think like for my POV it was pretty easy, but yeah, for the rest of the teams it was pretty hard. But if you're a top team, then yeah, it's not very hard.
All right. Great. So before we move to the last group, any final statements? Because the last group is crazy. So, any final statements?
Yeah, I can't wait after we win this weekend. I can't wait to see us above no org on this list.
Okay, all right. As long as you don't play NAR. Anyway, moving on to
Okay,
Junior
dude.
Division 4 playoff teams. We have one team locked in, Team Shadow Specters, who locked their playoff spot after taking a nice 2-1 over Dorado Gaming Epsilon. And then we have 4 teams fighting for 3 spots. 4-4-2 teams fighting for 3 spots. And the best part about it is the 4 teams all play each other this week. So basically, if you win, you're in. And if you lose, we have to go to tiebreakers. And so 3 of these 4 teams are going to make the playoffs. Who do you have making playoffs, Ken? Which of these 3?
I mean, it really depends. Like, what's the matchups? Actually, can you say?
Yeah. Dorado Gaming Epsilon plays a Mega Gaming Unknown, and Virtue Gaming Grit plays Absolute Zero.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. It's pretty hard. I feel like it comes down to either OG or Absolute Zero. I think one of those teams is probably getting eliminated. If I had to bet on one, probably Absolute Zero, who's going out, I'll say. I think they're like 5th, right?
They're 3rd right now.
Oh, really?
OG Unknown is 5th currently.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you don't have faith in your boy Kai Win to take Absolute Zero to playoffs?
I don't know, man. I think his teammates are kind of shit, but
Oh, okay. I will say that even if Absolute Zero loses, they have the best shot of advancing despite losing.
Wow, that's pretty wild, actually. Then.
Yeah. So they do win a couple. I think they win most tiebreakers if they lose. So they're sitting pretty well. But I just think it's nuts that we have 4 teams at 4-2 fighting for 3 spots, and they all play each other this week. It's just gonna be an absolute banger.
Yeah, that's really crazy.
Yeah. So you think either Omega Gaming Unknown or Absolute Zero goes out? All right. So you think Epsilon and Virtue Gaming are just in? That's your take, basically.
I mean, yeah. Like, from what I heard those 2 teams were pretty good. So I'd say they're probably gonna make it in. It's probably between Absolute Zero and OG, I would say.
All right. Very cool. Okay. Well, I mean, that's kind of our playoffs rundown so far. We are about to announce Senior All-Stars, because that did finish this week. Is there any final statements on Junior from any of our guests at all?
I think that Group 4 is going to be a banger. And
Yeah, I agree.
looking forward to watching to see what happens.
Yeah.
It can be very interesting.
All right, very cool. Now, I didn't update the senior bracket, so I'll just tell you who won and who's playing. So in the first week of seniors, Mint Gaming Mirage 3-1 New Age Esports, and Team Ambition Black 3-0'd E7 Seraphs. So Mint Gaming Mirage and Team Ambition Black will play in semifinals. In fact, they're actually playing in Unified tonight, I believe. So that's kind of like a preview for our semifinals match. And then Glue Eaters got upset by Akuma Blades 3-1, and Return of the Middle Sticks beat Virtue Gaming Ambition 3-0. So Return of the Middle Sticks and Akuma Blades will be fighting in the other semifinals match. So if you have been following seniors, then you're able to keep up with that, and that's probably very poggers for you. If you're not following seniors, it probably didn't make much sense to you. And on that note, let's move over to Senior All-Stars, starting with the third team. In the top lane, we have Arthur Dent. In the jungle, 2004 Lexus GX470. Mid lane, Steel City Warrior. ADC, All for One, and support Activites. Now, has anybody been watching Senior in here?
I have been.
Okay. What's your thoughts on these guys taking third place?
I think Acadix is actually an insane support player. Out of the games that I've watched, his play has been like some of the best, to be perfectly honest, and probably the most consistent out of what I've seen.
Okay. And just for clarity, Arthur Dent is the top laner for Glue Eaters. 2004 Lexus GX470 is the jungler for Rodham. Steel City Warrior is the mid laner for Mint Gaming Mirage. All for One is the bot laner for Team Ambition Black, and Acadix is the support for Rodham. But I think all of these players are like pretty nuts, to be honest. It's actually surprising that they're in third place, but it kind of speaks to the quality of some of the other players in this league, as we'll see in just a moment, as we move to the senior second team. In the top lane, we have Mint Gaming Mirage's Hecate Mask Off. In the jungle, Mint Gaming Mirage's Best Turtle NA. In the mid lane, Team Ambition Black's Mark Boots. In the bot lane, Mint Gaming Mirage's I'm Rob, and support Turk from Team Ambition Black. So this is all Team Ambition Black versus Mint Gaming Mirage members, which is our semifinals match this week. Any thoughts on this, Wooly Bully?
Not surprised that these, it's a combination of these two teams. They have both shown that they're pretty good. So it's kind of funny that it ended up that way, but not really surprising.
Right. So for people who've been watching seniors, and process of elimination should tell you who won the first team overall All-Stars for Season 3 seniors. And that we have Team Ambition Black's top laner, Demon King Sam, Team Ambition Black's jungler, Castle, Team Ambition Black's mid laner. Oh, wait. Did I get it mixed up last one? Oh, it was Sir Zepper who finished second team. That's right. And Mark Boots, Team Ambition Black first team. And Ducko Bark, the ADC from Rodham. And Waco G, the support for Glue Eaters. So I got the second and first one mixed up in the last slide because I read the sheet wrong. But so yeah, congratulations to all of these players for winning All-Stars. Thank you to Dawson for making this sick graphic. Any comments, Wooly Bully, or anyone really?
Not shocked to see most of Team Ambition up here.
Yeah.
And Wake definitely is super flashy in the support role.
Yes, he is, and he's the biggest trash talker, which is great to see. Win or lose, that guy is in banter chat, and it's always a fun sight. So, yeah. So congratulations to our senior All-Stars. Angry Cupcake was robbed. Okay, and yeah, thank you to everyone who came out tonight on the show and our guests. Any final thoughts from our guests tonight? Thank you for, first off, thank you for coming and spending, an hour with me or so. But any final thoughts about the show or the season, or any shout outs or anything?
Yeah, I want to shout out my team captain and support, and just say support diff if you lose to us, honestly.
Okay.
Definitely a shout out to who I think is the best player in freshman, and without a doubt the best ADC in freshman, JK. Love supporting that guy. He enables me quite well to be able to roam and do things for our team that I just haven't been able to do in the past playing with other players. So big ups to him.
All right, cool. And Kenrick, I noticed that you haven't changed your name to OMTC Kenrick. You're still BBC Kenrick. Any final thoughts? Any final shout outs? Anything?
Nah, fuck my team. I hate them.
Okay. This would have been a good time to say, BBC 3P, something like that. But I respect it. You just hate your team. I got it.
Yeah.
It's probably because they let her sub for you, and really, like, who does that? Let's be honest.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened. Like, whatever, man.
Okay. Anyway, thanks everyone for coming out and watching, and have a good night.